as his story shows, his body completely messed
down,
up.
yeah.
It shut down, as he said. He sat in his chair and shit himself during the
Yeah.
race.
And he like pissed himself, right? Like
the actual crazy part is that he kept going after that. So he had 20 more miles to go, shit himself, pissed blood on himself, and basically wasn't able to move anymore. Then he just kept going for 20 more miles, which is totally crazy. And this totally blew my mind because, I mean, probably most people can relate. I didn't think that something like this is possible.
I didn't even think your body could break down that bad.
Yeah, just from running.
Right? And then to mentally be like, I know I have like blood coming out and like I just pooped myself. But like, yeah, I'm just gonna keep running for another 20 miles, you know, whatever.
It's crazy. And as you said, like most people, I know I would be just worried about my health. Like, what's happening with my body? Like, I'm probably not supposed to do anything other than going to the doctor or the hospital and just rest. But he's like, I'm just going to keep going for 20 more miles. If you want to do things like that, or, I mean, you can also apply this to business and everything, other sports. Most people say the same thing. People like Kobe Bryant, Michael Jordan's of their sports. You just have to be obsessed, as you said. And this has to be more important sometimes than even your health, because otherwise you might not be able to get where you want to go.
Hope you guys are doing well. We are going to be joined by Timo and discussing Can't Hurt Me by David Goggins. So we're going to be, the main idea is to discuss a little bit about the book, share some summaries, share some ideas, our takeaways from the book, and just drop some knowledge with you guys. So it should be fun. Let's see, where's Timo at? There he is. The book is not in there, and I want to get that sucker right there. There we go. So we'll be joined by Timo real closely. There he is.
What's up, brother?
Hey, all good. How you doing?
I'm doing great, thank you. How about you?
I'm great, man. I appreciate you staying up till 8, trying to do an interview at 8 o'clock at night, because I know that's exhausting.
It is. No, just joking.
No, but it should be fun. Yeah, it should be fun. We're doing, let's see. I'm trying to get the angle. There we go. We're doing Can't Hurt Me by David Goggins right there. Boom, there we go. So for those of you guys who don't know, Can't Hurt Me is Timo's favorite book, and he's the one who really got me into more into David Goggins, because I'd heard of David Goggins like in 2018 or 2019, you know, through YouTube, but I didn't know he had his book, and then I was like, I'll get to it. And then Timo said, nah, man, you got to read it. You know, it's my favorite book. You know, it's so good. And damn, was it great. So I did what you said. I listened to the audiobook. As you said, you know, it's got some extra interviews and such. And then I was like, you know what, let me buy the book so I can go through, review it, talk about it with Timo. So I have the audiobook and the book just for Timo.
Love it. And I'm happy to hear that you enjoyed it as much as I did.
Yeah, no, it was really great. Like, I would listen to it in the mornings, like heading to university. And I was like, damn, man, like what a eye-opening, like, and what a unique life. So I guess let's start off with a little summary for anybody who hasn't read the book. So I'll let you go ahead and lead the summary, since I'm sure you've read this book multiple times. So how many times have you read this book? I'm curious. Maybe only once. I don't know.
Yeah. I've read it only once, the physical copy, but I listened to the audio 4 times already. So yeah, I know the story very well by now, and I listen to almost every podcast episode he has, so, and kind of repeating his story over and over again. So yeah. I mean, I don't want to go too much into detail with the summary, but I think for most people it would be interesting to start where he starts, which is his childhood. His childhood was a lot of trouble and chaos with his father, who was abusive to his mom, and to him and his brother too. So he and his mom, they left early on, and he grew up with a single mom. And he was bullied in school, and he had like racial issues because he was, I don't know exactly where in the US.
It's like the Midwest. Yeah, it was like the Midwest.
Yeah, so. And he had to face racism, talking about the KKK marching through the streets of the city where he lived and stuff like that. And so he had a tough childhood, tough time growing up. But then he got into the military, and this kind of changed him and his perception of everything. Like at first, he was just doing the normal thing, but then he found out about the Navy SEALs. And yeah, for some reason, it just inspired him so much that he knew he wanted to become a Navy SEAL himself. And I think that whole journey of just going through that training, going through BUDS and Hell Week multiple times, the toughest military program on the planet, kind of. So
pretty much, yeah.
That
was crazy.
Yeah, I mean, the way he tells it, it's insane. Yeah,
it is.
And then after that, he basically just kept suffering, kept punishing himself with running, lifting, everything. He's a famous ultramarathon runner now and has done so much crazy stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. Definitely. I was shocked with the amount. Okay, a little spoiler. Okay, so if you haven't read the book, cover your ears for like 30 seconds. Okay, I was shocked with how much death he faced throughout growing up. You know, like what was it? Was like there was just so many people that like what stayed in my mind was when he was like elementary school, middle school, and like apparently like a kid got ran over and died. It's like what like, and then like he got so graphic into it. It was pretty. Like I remember painting a picture in my head, like holy crap, like that must have been insane, you know? Like imagine, you know, like elementary school Timos just like going home, and then it's like oh shit, like you just see someone get ran over and die. Like it's very 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 traumatic, I'm sure, you know. So but I love that, like he takes all of that BS that he faces, like you know, literal death, you know, family problems, all these different things, you know, racial problems, and then he says, you know, fuck it, I'm gonna make this better for myself. I'm gonna use this as like fuel, you know, to sort of start a fire under my ass to keep going. So yeah, definitely a very as you say, a very motivational book, you know. Like I know whenever people ask Timo, you know, what's the best motivational book I've seen on your page, you're like, this is the book, man, right here. And now I'm like, yep. And I'm like, just listen to Timo, this is the book right here, because like damn, like it's just an amazing upbringing, and then he chooses to turn it into like, I'm gonna empower others, you know. It's really cool.
That's the great part about it, I think, is that he shows others that it doesn't really matter how you grew up. You can still turn your life around and do something incredible, even if you had a tough time in childhood or anything. Like he's inspiration for so many people, I believe. So that's a great thing about him sharing his story.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that empowers others to share their story too. So I think that's really cool. And I know you're into running. I wanted to ask, were you into running before this book, or was it more so after the book?
Yeah, so I was kind of into running. I mean, I ran a half marathon before I read the book, but then I mean, I already had the plan to run a marathon at some point in my life, kind of. But then when I read the book, I was like, okay, I'm doing this now. Like I immediately searched for a race and then signed up and everything, and then did it like 3 months after reading the book or something like that. And yeah, so I was kind of into running already, but I mean, him just sharing the races he did and how he pushed himself is just so inspiring. And I think even people who hate running, like David Goggins himself, he says he hates running.
Yep, same here.
But he just does it because he knows that it is that those things that we hate, we have to do them. We have to suffer and force ourselves to do those things. And I believe that running is one of the best ways to challenge ourselves, because most people don't like it, and it's freaking boring if you run for 5-6 hours or 4 hours. So yeah, I mean, I loved running before. He totally inspired me to do more than I expect of myself. And yeah, as I told you before, but maybe some people on here don't know, I also ran my first ultra marathon because of him. So I mean, yeah, this guy is just inspiring as hell.
And actually, I remember you mentioned at the beginning of the year, was it like you had a goal of, was it like 100K or something like that? If I remember correctly. I could be off by a little bit, but I remember you had like a running goal for this year. I don't know if you've had any progress towards that, if you've done it yet, or you're pushing it more towards the holidays.
Yeah, I haven't done it yet, but it's definitely a big thing. that I'm working towards. I kind of, the past few months, I didn't run very much, but I'm getting into it again now. And so I plan on doing another ultra, possibly a 100K run later this year.
Nice. Hell yeah. And I know you also finished like university recently, right?
Yes, I graduated in May. Yeah.
So congrats, because I also just finished in May, so I get it.
Yeah.
You know, you're like at the finish line, and you're like, damn man, like the next couple of weeks, I just gotta focus on school and like nothing else. So I totally understand how like, you know, it's like block all the other noise. Like even like reading kind of like took a toll for a little bit, because like damn, you know, I gotta like I spent like for my stats final, I think I spent those last 2 weeks of school studying just for that class, like 2-3 hours every day, because I was like, I need a like, because the exam was like half the grade or something like that. So
yeah.
It's like, so yeah, but congrats, you know, like I know that's a lot, so I did want to mention congratulations. What would you say was your favorite, or no, not even favorite, because you love the whole book. What for you, right? Like, what for you would you say is your most vivid, like memory or visualization from the book for you?
So I can't really tell this without giving a little spoiler for the people who haven't read it. So,
spoiler alert, that's fine.
Yeah,
you just say spoiler alert,
alert,
you know, because we're getting into it now.
Yeah, so one of my favorite parts, or the most, like, where I thought, what the hell, was when he tells the story of him running his first 100-mile race. And he wasn't even prepared, like, really. He just thought to himself, well, I'm a Navy SEAL, I'm a badass motherfucker, I can do this, I'm just going to sign up and do this. And he was also very muscular, very heavy for a runner. So he was not prepared at all.
How terrible is that? Because, like, I'm not really a deep runner, so I was like, oh, okay, well, yeah, maybe he's a Navy SEAL, so I guess, you know, like, I think he should be okay. Like, I thought, he'll struggle, but it won't be so bad. But you, who actually has experience running, is that really like terrible to do? Like to like just not prepare at all?
Yeah, totally. I mean, probably his biggest fuck up was that he didn't have proper nutrition. Like because he told he just bought some crackers and a sports drink at a supermarket, and this
you're not supposed to do that.
No, you're not supposed to run 100 miles for I don't know 20 hours or something like that, and just eat crackers and have a sports drink. So yeah, you really have to pay attention to nutrition when you do marathons, but also then what's more than that for ultra marathons, it's even more important because as his story shows, his body completely
just
messed
shut down,
up. It's shut down, as he said. I mean, yeah, he also tells this in a great detail and very graphic. He basically says that he sat in his chair and shit himself during the race.
And he like pissed himself, right? Like with like blood or some shit, right?
Yeah, which is crazy. Like, and then the actual crazy part is that he kept going after that. Yep. I think it was around maybe mile 80 or something like that where this happened. So he had 20 more miles to go, shit himself, pissed blood on himself, and basically wasn't able to move anymore. Then he just kept going for 20 more miles, which is totally crazy. And this totally blew my mind because, I mean, probably most people can relate. I didn't think that something like this is possible.
I didn't even think your body could break down that bad.
Yeah, just from running.
Right? And then to mentally be like, no, fuck that. Like, I know I have, like, blood coming out and, like, I just pooped myself. But, like, I'm just gonna keep running for another 20 miles, you know, whatever. Like, okay. Like, just, like, imagine just running 20, like, I don't know, maybe for you that's fine. For me, running 20 miles is like, oh, man, like, I don't think I've definitely never done that 20 miles. I think the most I've done is a couple miles. But then to run 20 miles while you're, like, pissing blood and you pooped yourself and you're aching and, like you said, there's no proper nutrition. It's like, and he said he didn't, like, really, like, train, right? Like, because I thought if maybe, like, you just used to running a lot, then it's not so bad. But now you're saying nutrition plays a big part, so, okay, you know.
Yeah. It's crazy. And as you said, like, most people, I know I would be just worried about my health. Like, what's happening with my body? Like, I'm probably not supposed to do anything other than going to the doctor or the hospital and just rest. But he's like, I'm just going to keep going for 20 more miles.
Yeah, and there's a certain level of like obsession, right? That one has to like have with, but not one has to, but at least with David Goggins, like he teaches you like that level of obsession one has to have to like take things to the next level. You know, like if you want to like do great at X, Y, or Z, you have to say like fuck everything else. Like I don't care if people are calling me crazy or whatever. Like crazy, it's just crazy for them, but for me, like that's my standard. You know, it's like, and I think that's sort of important. Like it got me thinking throughout the book, like what do I want to define as like crazy? You know, because like for him, like for us, it's like holy shit, that's crazy. Like, but for him, it's just like his goal was like I'm running these 100 miles in the 24 hours. That's what I'm doing. So like, it was just that was like the objective. That's it. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. You know, so it's like. Now, granted, he could have prepared, you know, a lot better, you know, and so his body's not like dying throughout the whole thing. But I don't know. That's definitely. I don't know if you felt that way, but it got me thinking about like being crazy or like obsessive. It's like,
Yeah.
You know?
If you want to do things like that, I mean, you can also apply this to business and everything, other sports. Most people say the same thing. People like Kobe Bryant, Michael Jordan's of their sports. You just have to be obsessed, as you said, and this has to be more important sometimes than even your health, because otherwise you might not be able to get where you want to go.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, funny enough, I was watching that. I don't know if you've seen the documentary on Michael Jordan, The Last Dance. I think like a year or two ago. I like just finished it like a couple of days ago, and it was pretty like interesting to see, like, you know, we think Michael Jordan is like, okay, he's like the guy for basketball, right? Like Kobe Bryant. And it's like even he was admitting like for his finals, like his final game with the Chicago Bulls, like he was exhausted. He was at 110%. Like he was like just trying to find how to give more. And I was like, whoa, like even Michael Jordan gets exhausted, right? Like even David Goggins like faces these fatigue, these physical obstacles, but it's that mindset of like, fuck it, I'm gonna push back. I have to push back even more now to give that extra 1%. You know, to give as much as I possibly can till it's done. Not oh, you know, so I feel better about myself, or you know, so I can be the best. It's like no. So the team or the objective can be accomplished. You know, I just thought that was interesting. Like wow, like even Michael Jordan has limits, but that's why he's so great, because he pushed past them, and like he's just like he couldn't, like he was saying, he couldn't even think towards the end, like because of how exhausted he was. He was trying to just like get 5 seconds to just process. You know, I thought that was really interesting. Now I know you're obviously a very big David Goggins fan, so I'm curious, if you had one question to ask him, what do you think that question would be?
Yeah.
Boom. On the spot.
That's a tough.
I know it's a big question. So
yeah.
we can talk a little more, you know, while you think about the question if you want, or you can take 10 seconds. And
I actually
think.
I have something on my mind, which.
Ooh.
Because he's like, we talked about it. Most people know he's just tough as hell. Like for him, mostly it's about don't be a little bitch, as he said. Don't complain.
Pretty much.
Don't cry. Don't like just push through things and become harder. Be mentally tough and all those things. And I would ask him, how does he handle people, or how does he relate to people who are not at his level of that mental toughness yet? Because it's a process. It's something that you have to develop. He wasn't there a few decades ago. He had to get to this point. So if he is talking to people, if he's doing things with people who are not at his level mentally, how does he handle these people, or how does he relate to them, or does he show empathy for them, or does he try to help them get to the spot where he is? So that would be my question for him. How does he handle people who are not at his level mentally yet?
And are you talking about for people that maybe he's like that are trying to train with him, or just like in general, like just like
also like relatives, like
yeah, right? Okay, like
because he has
his community,
wife and everything. So I wonder, is his wife as nuts as him and runs 10K every day or whatever, or how does he like, or is it just something he expects of himself and not of others? So that would be interesting. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I think it is like I've hopped into like one live that he did once, and I think it is a little bit of like at least I got the vibe of like it is a bit more of like he sets expectations on him, and then everybody else just has to focus on like and set their own thing. But interesting. All right. Yeah, I found out he's in like, at least I'm fairly certain because I watched like some of his runs and like it looks like he's in Vegas. So if I ever see him, Timo, I got you, Timo. like if I'm just randomly going for a run, exactly. Like because I've seen the background of where he runs and I recognize like, oh, okay, that's
really?
Like, yeah, like there's parts where like it's like gated and you can see behind. That's like the electricity. Those are like over on the west side of Vegas, like where they have like it's like a perimeter and it's like the electricity for the town. So I'm like, all right, you know what? If I ever see him in Vegas, I gotta ask him like, yo, you know, how do you like what are your like expectations for other people and like how do you manage that level? Because it's true, right? Like if you have goals, I think it's really tough to like have goals and then focus on them. Like if you live with family or friends or whatever, you know, because like it's like they all kind of have an influence like on your life. So.
Yeah, and also just not being so hard on other people. Like if other people have goals and maybe you see them struggling or you see them making excuses or complaining, you don't kind of talk back on them and tell them that they suck. I'm not telling other people that they suck, but kind of pushing back.
Yeah, you're like,
but showing empathy instead, maybe, or motivating them, or how he would handle that situation.
Yeah. Right? Absolutely. I would definitely say like I'm a older sibling of 3. So like growing up I was definitely guilty of like, oh come on man, like you can do it, like let's just go. Like like what the hell? And then like they'd be like, no, I don't want to go and do this or go run or like I'm very much like, you know, let's embrace the suck and go for it, like fuck it. And then it's like but then, you know, siblings like, I don't want to do that. I just want to like chill or play video games or get comfortable. I'm like, oh god, why? You know, it's like why do you do this? So it's definitely interesting. Like and for me, I found it's definitely much more like it's helped me at least. To, like I read the 4 agreements, and that's when I was like, oh shit, I just got to focus on me, and everything else will work out. But I'll make sure to ask him. I got you, Timo, so don't you worry.
Thanks.
And so, does David Goggins' vibe or the book overall? Does it remind you of any other books that you felt are like relatable at all, just in case people want to read something similar?
Yeah, so one of the books that I read prior to Can't Hurt Me, actually it was the book I read just before I bought Can't Hurt Me, was, what is it called? Redefine Impossible by Mr. James Lawrence. He's the guy who ran 50 Ironmans in 50 states in 50 days in the US a couple years ago. And last year...
Wait. Let's define what an Ironman is for people who don't know.
Yeah, okay, so I don't know the official distances, but it's something like you swim 4K, you have like 180K of cycling, and you have a full marathon at the end of the event. So it's a race that takes most people around 11 to 12 hours to complete. And he ran 50 of those back to back, and also traveled through the 50 states of the United States.
You know, if that wasn't hard enough, you know, whatever, just...
Yeah, but the crazy thing now is that last year he did 100 Ironmans in 100 days consecutively.
He said, you know, fuck that. 50 days ain't shit, you know, like I'm going to do 100 Ironmans, like...
That's totally insane. Yeah, and they took out the travel part because that was a huge struggle in the first try or the first round they did.
Okay.
But yeah, and I mean the crazy thing is that I haven't been watching his stuff too much lately, but he's kind of still recovering from that, and it was 1 year ago. Like he had mental fatigue and everything. Like he was wrecked after the 100 days. So he's still recovering from that. But I mean, it's totally crazy. And he has a book about the 50, what they call it, the 50. And that is really inspiring as well. Just him sharing the story of running those 50 races in 50 days.
That's crazy.
Sharing his struggles and everything. And I'm sure that they will probably also publish a book about the 100 Ironmans, but it's not out yet. So that's one of them. And then I'm also listening to a book right now that's very similar to Goggins' book, and that's Endure by Cameron Hanes. This really reminded me of Can't Hurt Me, because Cameron Hanes is also a big runner. He sometimes even runs a marathon a day during his normal everyday life while working a full-time job. So he's also just a crazy guy, total stud, and it's a very similar vibe.
A marathon is how much again? Is like 24 miles or something like that? Or is that 24 kilometers?
I think it's 42 kilometers, and I think that's like 26 miles or something like that.
Okay, there you go. Oh man. But you know, to each their own. Like everybody, I think as long as you push yourself, you know, you make progress. Like I think that's the focus. Like because especially towards like the end of each chapter. Again, if you haven't read it, a little spoiler, but I won't give too much info. It's like at the end of each chapter, he has like a challenge for every reader, you know, for each chapter. And I think it's cool because I think he sort of tells us throughout, like, no, it's like all about making progress within yourself, you know, like you don't have, like Ryan doesn't have to go run a marathon like once a month because I'm not a runner, but like even pushing myself to run a mile, I'm like, damn, I don't want to run. And then sometimes I'll think about Timo, I'll think about David Goggins. I'm like, come on, man, don't be a little bitch. Like Timo runs like 100 miles or whatever. It's like, you know, like you can do it, you got this, you know, rooting you on. So funny enough, because I hate running. I don't like running at all. But every time afterwards, I actually really enjoy it. You know, it's like meditation. You know.
Yeah.
Like,
I love it.
Do you listen to music while you run?
No, actually not, because 2 books, or actually 1 book, is the reason why I don't, and that's Stillness is the Key by Ryan Holiday. Because he just shares how important it is during this time where we have so much input constantly by social media, by movies, by radio, TV, everything, that we also need to take some time during the day to just let our thoughts wander and just take some time to process all the information we take in. And that's perfect while you're taking a walk or while you're running in nature, because I realized that I have the best ideas when I want to run in nature, because my mind can just go wherever it wants to go, and these ideas and thoughts come to me that I otherwise wouldn't have. So that's the main reason why I don't have music or anything while I'm running.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah, no, that's definitely, I mean, I've definitely noticed that when walking, even when running sometimes, but running, I'm kind of like, running for my life, you know, running for my life there. But definitely, like for me when walking, and I will second that. I made sure now not to listen to music, and I've done that for years now. But I like the way you put it. Mine was more of like, I came across, I forget which military guy it was, and he was like, oh no, if you listen to music while you're running, that's fucking cheating. Because the idea is like, don't be a little bitch, like embrace the struggle of like, if you hate running, even better, like face it and say, okay, but I'm gonna do it anyways, and I'm gonna struggle through it, and so that builds like a callous mind, as Goggins says, right? Like, so I mainly do it so I can like embrace the suck, but then also like, I like how you said, like, I think yesterday or 2 days ago I went running, something like that, and I was trying to focus on like my stride. So I was just focusing, all right, how long is this stride? How long is that stride? And then trying to feel like my leg muscles. I was like, oh, okay, you know, I can feel it. Oh, it's getting a little fatigue going up the hill. Okay. It's like, nah, come on. So it was definitely really interesting to like be more present and, but still embrace that suck. But I'm glad you don't listen to music
I love that.
I
actually heard that too, that listening to music is cheating. And I loved how the explanation goes, because I think most of us can relate that if you listen to music, it just really motivates you, it gets you pumped, you have a distraction. But if you turn off the music, you have to listen to your own thoughts. And if your thoughts are, oh man, I'm tired, I don't want to run anymore, I want to go back home, I'm hungry, my toe hurts, or whatever.
I'm thirsty.
Yeah, then you have to listen to that shit, and you have to learn how to handle it. So that's the value in what you said. Embracing the struggle, embracing the suck, not listening to something that's distracting you, taking you away from these thoughts. But you have to learn how to handle them. And I want to throw in a quote real quick from Can't Hurt Me, which is one of my favorite quotes. And it's something along the lines of, the most important conversations you'll ever have are the ones you have with yourself. And I think it's what Goggins means is those conversations that you have, for example, while you're on a long run and you just want to stop, you just want to go back home. And that's the moment where you have to say, no, man, I'm going to keep going. I'm going to go for the distance I intended to go for. I'm just going to push myself harder than I would have expected of myself, because that's the moments where you learn that you're capable of much more than you think.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, changing that self-talk narrative, right? Because you're right. Like one could be like, I'm thirsty. I just want to like relax. I want to walk back. But then you could also change it like, nah, come on, motherfucker. Like, let's just one more stride. Like Goggins even said it in the book. It's like, no, like one more step, and that's sort of how you take it. So like, if we focus on that self-talk and just like, with some love, of course, like when I talk to myself or even to Timo, I'm like, come on, don't be a little bitch. It's like, it's with love, it's like, nah, come on, because I believe in you. I believe in myself. Like, I can do it. You can do it. Like, let's just get it done, So definitely changing that self-talk narrative of like, it's all with love. You can do it, and pushing yourself. Yeah, I think that's definitely really important. And I appreciate the quote. That's a good quote.
Yeah, I love it too. It's really good.
Now, any questions you got for me before we go? I want to see if you had any questions, or you want to ask about the book.
I mean, I'm interested. What would you ask Goggins if you could ask him something? Do you have something on your mind?
Tables turned. Huh? What would I ask Goggins? That's a good question. I have no idea. I mean, I'm not as big a fan. I got it
from the best.
But there you go. Oh, I guess, I don't know. I'd sort of be stuck between. I guess I'd have to ask him, like, when he started pissing blood, like, did he not think for like a second, like, oh shit, let me go to the hospital? Like, did it creep in his mind of like, oh shit, like I might actually die, like, but was he okay with that? Because like I know like in the Navy SEALs, right? Like he was talking about like he was willing to die to like accomplish being a Navy SEAL, but like I'm curious if like it went through like, or if it even goes through his mind when he started out, like was he willing to die, like not just to, but like to achieve that self-inflicted goal, right, of like 100 miles with no training, with no nutrition, with just being not just again, but with being a Navy SEAL, but nothing else. It's like, yeah, I'm gonna run 100 miles. Like I'm curious if he was willing to say, fuck it, I'm willing to die before like changing goals, that'd be interesting. It's like sometimes, I mean, I'm sure we've set goals and we're like, I don't feel like making progress towards that goal or whatever. And then here Goggins is like, no, I'm going to die until I make that goal. Like, it's like a different mindset. So I'm curious, like, was he willing to die to hit the 100 miles within the 24 hours? Like, was that his mindset going into it?
Is that why he kept going, maybe? Or
yeah.
I love it. Good question.
Right, because I mean, if you're pissing blood, like
shit's getting serious.
like and pun intended, right? Like he shit himself. like that part, I'm kind of like, okay, he shit himself, like, maybe it slipped out. But it's like to piss blood. That's like, yo, like something inside your body is not processing properly, and it's torn or whatever because you're pissing blood. Like it's not just he pissed himself; he pissed blood. Like I would have called it like I don't care what goal. Like that's
Yeah, my connection was lost there for a second, but I think I heard you finish the sentence. Yeah, as you said, it's you have to be committed on a different level if you're willing to go through that.
Yeah.
And maybe one other question that I have for you is, because you say you also go running kind of regularly, even though you hate it. So I'm interested, do you apply or have you applied any of the techniques or tools he explains or shares in the book? Like the mental tools?
Yeah, so I definitely do use the cookie jar a lot. Like once you explained that to me, like when you first shared Can't Hurt Me, I was like, oh, that's really cool. And I tried applying that to my running because it's like, you're right. Like, come on, Ryan, I've ran a mile before, or, oh, fuck. I mean, I've ran like 3 to 5 miles before, like in like middle school, high school. Like I used to, like, that was my way of like, nah, come on, like I can push myself more. I used to run even more, like try to work out more was my thing. And I mean, now it's just pushing myself to run because I don't like running. But definitely using the cookie jar You know, oh, I ran 3 miles, or I've ran up this hill before. Come on, motherfucker, like let's just do it. So I used the cookie jar. I did sort of a version of the accountability mirror. I just journal it though, instead of using the mirror, because I share a mirror. But I use my my journal every Sunday. What I do is I write out like, all right, these are my goals for the week, these are my goals for the month, these are my goals for the year, and then I try to every Sunday as best as I can, maybe sometimes Saturday, right? Reflect, like, okay, you know, did I make progress? All right, cool. Now, did I hit the goal? Maybe I came short, maybe I hit it, you know, and sort of reassess what I did. But that holds me accountable to like, all right, you know, like I studied for this week. All right, great. I prioritized homework and I made sure my exams were good, you know, and, you know, work is good. So like, you know, things like that. So that's my version of the accountability mirror.
I love that.
Thank you. I appreciate that. And then, oh shit, what was I gonna say? And then, just pushing myself to like wake up earlier is another thing. Like embracing that suck even more. Like I thought I embraced the suck before, and then after reading his book, I was definitely like, come on, man, like you can do so much more. You know, it's like so. Oh, that's one thing I wanted to ask you before we go. Like, is there anything else you would say you like to do that you do to like push yourself out of your comfort zone? Because I found for me, it's like running, waking up early, and if I really want to push myself, cold showers. Because I don't like showers. I think I've shared this before, right? I don't like showers. It could be a hot shower, medium, like what. I just don't like showers. Like, it's weird. But then even more so, I don't like cold showers. So like, if I do those two things, I'm like, holy shit, I'm a fucking badass. Like I showered, I like ran, and I woke up early. Like nothing can stop me. You know, it's like, I'm curious if there's anything you do.
It's kind of similar. I mean, I don't hate running as much as you do, but I use running also to challenge me. Like I just kind of push myself to do things that I maybe haven't done before, or I run up a mountain or a steep hill, or I know that I have ran, maybe I didn't run 10K in the past few months or weeks, so I'm gonna say, well, today I'm gonna do this distance, or I'll say I want to go at a certain pace, kind of pushing myself to run faster, stuff like that. But then also, as you said, I don't like cold showers, even though I'm aware of the benefits they provide by reading Wim Hof's book. I mean, it's crazy how good cold showers are for our health, but they are.
Yes.
Yeah.
One more time. There we go.
Yeah, so what I wanted to say is that cold showers, even with all their benefits, they simply suck. Even like they suck the most in the evening when I'm tired, or in the morning when I'm tired. I simply can't get myself into the cold water. But yeah, so that's something I also love doing because it's so quick. Like you can go into the shower, take your normal shower, and then force yourself to turn it all the way to the cold before you leave the shower. And in just 30 seconds, you got freaking uncomfortable, but you also feel very good afterwards. So
yeah, you do. You're like refreshed, you know.
Yeah.
Like, and I thought it interesting. I don't know if you like watch UFC at all. Like I used to like really religiously like 10 years ago. But there's a world champion, George St. Pierre. I don't know if you've heard of him.
Yeah.
And okay, all right, cool. So for those of you guys who don't know, George St. Pierre is like a world champion back in like 2010s for like mixed martial arts, for UFC. And his thing is he hates cold showers, but he's talked about how he does them almost religiously, and he makes sure that he doesn't like panic or anything when he does it. Like he says I remember him talking about like he hates cold showers, but he makes sure that when he does it, he just goes in and he's quiet and then gets out, because you can freak out while doing the cold shower, right? But you're choosing to react like that when other uncomfortable situations happen, right?
Yeah.
I'm like, oh man, so like not only take a cold shower, but I just shut up and take the beating of a cold shower. It's like you know, so that's my goal now, to like try and take cold showers without like any sort of like, oh god, you know, like that prep work of like, all right, I'm gonna run into the cold shower and like just be done, you know.
It makes it easier if you kind of Because in the beginning, when I did cold showers, I was like shouting around the bathroom and like making these deep breath, like.
Yes.
But
yes. Okay. I'm glad I'm not
it
the only one.
Yeah. No, you definitely
really
not the
like
only one.
just like get it out. You know, it's like fuck.
Yeah. Exactly.
And then you're out. You know, it's like
But then to force yourself to stay calm too, I think that's a great idea. And even just taking or pushing yourself, doing things that you're not comfortable with, and then forcing yourself to not complain about it.
Yeah.
Or one thing that Chad Wright, who's also a former Navy SEAL, he's also an ultra marathon runner, and he always says, don't give your pain a voice, because the moment you say that you hurt is when your mind and your body realize that you actually hurt, and you manifest it, and that's when you really realize how much it hurts, and you also tell other people. And he just says, don't give your pain a voice. If you're hurting, just don't say it out loud, and it will help a lot, even during running.
Damn. Oof. That was good. That was good. What was the name of the guy again?
Chad Wright.
Chad Wright. Okay.
I think with 2 D's and then WRIGHT.
Okay.
Yeah.
Got him. Chad
with
Wright.
A huge beard. If you see a huge beard, then that's the guy.
Oh yeah, I see him. I just see this and a guy with a huge beard. Like, okay, that's him. All right, cool. Any other questions, Timo?
Connection's gone again, I believe.
There we go.
Okay, so you
back.
Oh, I'm back.
The back.
Did you ask for?
Yeah. Any other questions?
Other questions?
You can say no, right?
Maybe,
I mean, I'm not like trying to like, you know.
Maybe
I wanted to be respectful of like, if you got questions, let me know.
Yeah, maybe one short question, because I shared in what ways I want to push myself further and what David Goggins makes me do. So I'm curious if there's anything that you said you want to do after reading the book.
Yeah, so I wanted to. Well, I did for like a week, but just take cold showers in the like right after I wake up and do my workout. Take a cold shower. If I can do that trifecta of like shit of just like, oh god, like this sucks, you know, like, because nobody wants to wake up early, right? Like waking up early, like I'm talking 3, 4, maybe 5's a little too late. Like I'm talking like 4 and earlier, and maybe 4:30, before 5, let's say. And then working out, mainly running, because I don't like running, right? Like I'll do push-ups, pull-ups. I enjoy that personally, so I try not to do that, just to push myself to like, nah, come on, let's go for a run. You can do it. And then on top of that, take a cold shower after having like woken up early, not getting more sleep as I wanted to, and then like running. Then you got to take a shower on top of it. It's like, damn, that sucks. So I did that for like 5 or 7 days, but then I stopped. But funny enough, like it came to my mind. I was like, yo, I want to challenge Timos to like a 1 week like challenge. Like I like.
Let's do it.
You want to do it?
What do you want to do?
Well, I don't know what like your thing is, right? But my thing is like I might just do that trifecta again of like a trifecta like bullshit of like wake up early, shower, or go for a run, and I'll even push it to like, cause I'm used to doing a mile, like I'll even push it to 1.5 miles, and then a cold shower in the morning for like a week and see what happens. Yeah, but I don't know what your definition of like, you know, like a shitty morning would be, you know, like
man,
a grueling morning.
Waking up at 5 a.m. sucks. I hate waking up early. So waking up early and then also running and taking a cold shower in the morning. So I mean, I know that afterwards I will feel great. But in the moment, I couldn't think about anything worse than that.
Right? Doesn't that sound like terrible? It's just like,
yeah.
And then afterwards, you're like, oh, you know, I'm kind of glad I did it. Like, actually, like, because when I did it, like, I felt refreshed. I felt a little tired from the running because, you know, I'm not used to running, but I made sure to just like stretch, and like afterwards I was like, all right, cool. Now I got all this time to like read. I'd study. I was like, oh shit, like it's not bad. But like to actually do it, you know what? I think we should up the ante. I think we should do 2 weeks. A 2 week, yep.
I mean, what's a week?
Yeah. Well, because, you know, anybody could do it for like a couple days, but, you know, 2 weeks is kind of like, oh, okay. All right.
Yeah, I mean, let's discuss. Let's chat about the details that we want to do, and then maybe we can get some people involved as well from the people who listen here if they want to. We can maybe start a little DM group or something like that.
There you go. Share it on our stories. I got to think of a name though, because you know the trifecta like bullshit morning. I don't think it's gonna work.
People aren't gonna like it.
But it's so true. I mean, come on. Like nobody wants to do any one of those three things. Like even if you like running, you don't want to wake up early to then run. Like that's just like, like you know.
You have to love it, but I don't think anybody does love it that much.
But there you go. That self-talk of like, nah, fuck it, let's go. Like, it's got to do it, you know. Cool. So we'll definitely chat back and forth and do some details. Now, lastly, I wanted to direct anyone, go check out Timos' website. I wanted to give you props. Really cool website. So
thank you, man.
You know, I wanted to give you the some respect right there. You know, I think it's a really cool website. So anybody wants to go check it out, TimosNotes.com. Anything else? You want to add any plugs or whatever? Anything you're working on in the coming weeks or months?
Shameless plug, because you mentioned the website.
Yeah, go for it, yeah.
I actually co-authored a book.
That's right, yes.
In the past few months. And I recently published that. So if anybody's interested in the book, it's a co-authoring project with 10 other authors from the US and Canada. And it's mainly about branding. So especially for entrepreneurs or people in the branding space. But it's also just the authors sharing their personal experience of developing a brand and building their businesses. So even if you don't necessarily are into branding, you might even just enjoy the personal stories of the people involved.
Okay, cool. Appreciate it.
So if anybody wants to check that out, this will be on my website soon, or you can check it out on my profile.
What's it called?
It's called Branch Hogs.
Branch Hogs.
Brand Sharks.
Brand Sharks.
Like a shark?
Yes. Brand Sharks. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Got it. I remember seeing the title, but we know I'm terrible with the rote memory. Brand Sharks.
That's it. Yeah.
Brand Sharks. Okay. All right. So there you go. Brand Sharks. Go check it out. Any other shameless plugs you want to add in before we go? Check out at TimosNotes on IG or.
And maybe if some people from my audience are here, then definitely go check out Ryan. He has amazing content and he shares great takeaways from the books. And
thank you.
You should send me your address and I'll send you a copy of my book if you want to.
You got it. I'll send it over. And actually, that reminds me. We'll talk more, but I want to do like key takeaways from Can't Hurt Me and such. So we'll talk. Maybe we'll do a little collab there for a video or something. Cool.
Sure. Yeah.
Cool. That's all my questions. I'm happy. I'm good.
Same. I asked you everything I wanted to know.
Brilliant.
I appreciate you taking the time and inviting me, man. Thank you so much.
Absolutely, man. Yeah, absolutely, Timo. So that was it. Can't Hurt Me by David Goggins with Timo and Ryan. Hope you guys enjoyed. Thank you, everybody that joined. Appreciate you guys being part of the community. And yeah, look forward to our next chat together.
Me too, man. And
cool.
We got to finish in Goggins' way. Stay hard, guys.
Stay hard. Later, man.